All right, everybody. Lights, camera, and action. I know, I can't believe he said that about her. I mean, and welcome back to another episode of Creature Madness. And I'm Gus from Askewed Reviews. Now, if you don't know what Creature Madness is, this was a creation by my friend Matthew over at Horror Madness, where he decided to have a few of his friends come and join him as we all watch creature feature films each and every week. Now, aside from myself and Matthew, the other members of our cast are Jen, Ryan, Bambi, and Mariah, Ashley, and Karen. And this time around, it was actually Matthew's turn to choose the film. And he chose the 2011 film Super 8, directed and written by J.J. Abrams. Now, if you've never seen Super 8 before, it's kind of like E.T., but if you gave it steroids. Let me tell you more about the concept to see if this is something that maybe you want to check out for yourselves. So, this film takes place in 1979, and we have a group of very close friends Joe, Charles, Carrie, Preston, and Martin, who are all young filmmakers, as they are the actors, the directors, the writers, the cameramen, the special effects people, even the makeup people, all rolled into this small group of young friends. Now, Charles, who is essentially the writer and director, has recently come up with a new idea that he wants to film, but to do so, they need a female character. So he reaches out to one of the girls at his school named Alice, who Joe just so happens to have a crush on. So our group of young filmmakers and their new friend Alice head off to a train station at night to do some filming for one of the scenes. While they're there, they end up realizing it's going to be a perfect moment as a train is just about to pass by and they want to use it for the scene. Just before the scene is about to end, Joe notices that a truck has pulled onto the tracks and is aiming right for the train. And as soon as they collide, the train goes tumbling, flying forward, launching into things, hitting stuff. This is a massive train wreck that they all get to witness and even record some of. Once the accident is fully over, the kids manage to come back together, with luckily none of them being harmed. However, though, at one point, part of a train bursts open and something runs out of it and off into the distance. And right about this time is when the military shows up, so the kids hightail it out of there as quickly as they can. Now, even though this group of friends has this very big secret, they decide their priority is to still try and see if they can finish this film. However, though, it looks like that might be very difficult to do, as whatever escaped from the train is now causing a lot of issues around the town. Some people are coming up missing, a lot of the local pets and animals have just dispersed and disappeared, and some weird items are being stolen from various locations. It also doesn't help that the military is definitely trying to cover all of this up, and they're not willing to bring in the local police in on what's actually happening, which becomes a huge issue for Joe's dad, who is a deputy, and because the sheriff is missing, he's essentially the one in charge now. It also seems like an impossible task to bring in Joe's dad on what's actually happening due to the fact that within the past year, Joe's mother died in an accident, and ever since, his dad has been very distant, and there's been a lot of awkwardness and issues between the two of them. So, will the boys and Alice be able to not only figure out what's going on, but also help the local police since the military is definitely not trying to do so? Super 8 is definitely a fun and entertaining movie, and you can absolutely see how this is a love letter to Steven Spielberg style films, with Spielberg actually being an executive producer for this as well. Now, in my own opinion, there was just parts of this movie that were just kind of bland. I wish I could put my finger on exactly why I felt that way, but it was a fun movie. It looked really cool. I liked the performances of the characters and everything, but there was just something missing there for me to fully enjoy the movie. So, at least on my scale, I'm going to give Super 8 a 3 out of 5. Now, if you want to check this one out for yourselves, it's currently streaming for free on Paramount Plus. Now, as a heads up, this is the part of Creature Madness where I'm going to go more in depth about the creature that appears in the film. So, if you haven't seen this movie, feel free to go and watch that first and then come back to this. Or, if you're a glutton for punishment, stick around and you'll learn more about the creature in Super 8. So, obviously, if you've seen the film, you know that the creature in this is an alien, and a massive one at that. I honestly have no idea how this thing managed to sneak around as well as it did. Maybe it's got some sort of stealth ability, but yeah, this thing is just kind of making its way throughout the town while being massive and no one sees it until like the end of the film. The creature does have 4 arms and can either run around on its hands and feet, or it can stand bipedally with its arms at its side. It does seem to have superior strength, as it can break through a wall or rip through a bus, and at the same time, it is also highly intelligent. Now, I don't know specifically if the alien has an ability to where it can take machine pieces and parts and stuff like that and then just form it into a spaceship, or if it's something about its technology that's doing that. There's these cubes right here which made up his original ship, and I don't know if they're required to build the ship or if he just is able to pull them back and also use those, and he's just using everything else to make the ship. I never fully understood that part. So, all in all, I do recommend checking this one out, especially if you haven't seen it before, and I hope you enjoyed my review for Creature Madness. If you'd like to see what everyone else in the group did for their review on this movie, just look up the hashtag Creature Madness.